So I know I mentioned this last year when we first discovered this, but that is the cause of this corrosion. One of the causes. One of them is my fault, and I'll tell you about that too. But see, because it's aluminium, we glue the pumps and the float switch to the bilge. Inside the pump is a little tiny stainless steel shaft, which in salty water turns into a battery and eats my hull. So, two causes: stainless steel, aluminium, mixing metals, galvanic corrosion. But you need a transfer of current, you need an electrolyte, and that's the salty water. This bilge is where the fridge compressor lives behind here. Obviously it sweats a little bit. There's also a water pump just here. Occasionally there's a dribble. In here is often wet, causing my corrosion. So my solution is to now mount this pump up higher. So instead I will mount the float switch up here on the T-bar as well. And then any corrosion, it's not going to sink us, yeah? This is T-bar standing up. This is much more sacrificial than here. And the reason that we can mount the pump that high, the pumps don't do anything when the water's this deep. You honestly need a good 3 inches of water before it actually pumps, because otherwise it's just sucking on air, doesn't actually pump. So I'm happy enough to have the bilge pumps up high. Keep them out of the water that will inevitably be sitting in the bottom of the bilge. Alright, back to it.
Now I've got the welder I can fix. That was the theory. I've probably spent a full day trying to set up the TIG welder, trying to, just and practice. I had a fancy hand amperage control. It's a button that you push and squeeze, and it's supposed to vary the current to make it hotter or cooler, because the foot pedal is hard to use when I'm upside down on the bilge. That didn't work out for me so far. I'm dealing with the people that sold it to me. It was $280 for a little button. It wasn't a cheap item, but I just thought it was absolutely necessary to control while I'm upside down on the bilge.
End it up.
And it just wasn't working. So I took that off, and I'm now just on the basic TIG welder, and the Yes welder's been sweet. But alley welding is hard, especially old dirty alley. Bilge water alley is pretty hard to weld on. You got to prepare it well, got to get it back to shiny metal. So I'm trying to grind it up, but some are in the corners, There's always impurities there, so the weld ends up going a little awry, more often than not, actually. So in that bilge yesterday, I had maybe 7 or 8 pits that I drilled out with either the Dremel or a drill bit.
Just finding any little pits, drilling out the corrosion. Last time I was just using vinegar to try and get in there. Oh, and some sandblasting too, although not so much on the inside of the boat because of the dust, of course.
I can't see anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, a bit of dentistry work and remove the corrosion or the decay. The other side I spot welded some filler and it's come up nicely, but it's a bit of a process and a reasonable chance, with my professionalism, a reasonable chance of making a bigger hole.
Pocket.
This side just got some shallow pits and they're not a structural problem. So I've just removed the decay and now we're just going to fill it with naialic. The naialic will naturally pool in those deeper pits prevent any further decay. That's my plan for most of the bilges. This was only the one bilge over that side that had a few deeper pinholes and it needed welding. This side looks okay. It's not too bad. I mean, I've certainly filled the pit. There's always a little pinhole, which happens after you cut the amperage. I've got a downslope, but it's still always a little pinhole. I do my best. But... So that's an example of a fixed one. These three are examples of a friggin' mess. But let's grind it up, see what it looks like.
Because it's not just a perfectly circular pit. You've got, cracks leading off and tendrils, I think is the name. The build-up of the oxides and the corrosion. You want to get rid of all of that. So you got to Dremel that out to shiny metal and then fill that. And that sounds easy enough. But the angles are upside down. I got arms like this and I'm trying to see. It was a challenge. But I'm pretty sure I'm 80% happy with what I got done yesterday. And it's the best I can do. I had to redo pits 2 or 3 times. And then I've grinded it back. And it looks way better now. No holes. So I've inspected that hole. And there's nothing for me to weld in there. There's no pitting bad enough for me to weld in there. It's not worth the tiny pits. It's not worth filling them because the effort it takes and the risk of creating a new crater with the TIG welder is such that I don't want to deal with the tiny pits. What I will do is I'll give them a little Dremel out to get rid of all that eating compound, and then when I allocate, that's fine. It's only the deep pits that I want to weld because the alley's only 4 millimeters thick, which is a 1/6 of an inch. If you lose 2 millimeters or 1/15 of an inch, you ain't got much left. So the deep pits are the ones I'm going to weld up. Shallow pits I'm not too concerned. I just got to stop the corrosion process in those. So that's my alley.
And then we did the trampoline.
The tramp, so still got fingers crossed on this one. But the company that makes that mesh for the tramps, we love that mesh. It's called Ferrari mesh. We've been in contact with him trying to get it here in the US. He thinks it's not available in the US and he's going to have to get it from Europe. So anyway, hopefully we can get some new tramps. Because these are 10 years old and they're still strong as, really they are. I'm really impressed with this fabric. It's not a fabric, it's like a fiber reinforced plastic modulus or something it's called. But yeah, we call it Ferrari mesh. We like it. There's pros and cons to trampolines, right? I'll discuss that a bit more later because we may end up making a video about it, and especially if we have to change the mesh and just get some net. I don't know. We may have to, but we'll see. But yeah, tramps came off. Maybe we got to sew up a broken seam again. And this is the trouble with the sewing thing, is that we use Tanara thread or Sailrite's lifetime thread, which is the same as Tanara, supposed to last longer than me. So it's not, but it may be because it's undoing. It's not breaking in the sun. It's undoing because it's sewing, and it's sewing big weave like this. So it's really hard to lock the ends, and even if it's not degrading because of the sun, it may break because someone walked on it. So that Tanara thread or lifetime thread hasn't helped us with the tramps. This is why I've been putting this one off for so long. What a job. In here, this very stiff material, at least it's not the size of a sail, but it's still bloody big. For the first time in my life, I'm using this thread, which is PFTE thread. It's like Tanara, but it's Sailrite's equivalent, called lifetime thread. Supposed to be 100% UV proof and chemical proof. So, but it's so fine, it's like hair. It's so fine compared to the thread that was in here. Anyway, we've done 1 run so far, and I'm really surprised. It went well, it didn't break. So we've got to do 3 runs on every seam. We might have to sew it up again, which is such a mission. It's 10 years baking in the sun. It is tough as leather now. Well, tougher than leather. It's like 10-year-old plastic that's sat in the sun, literally. Really hard to sew, and I'm not sure that our machine can get through it anymore. It normally has a lot of trouble. Now, maybe it can't. So we'll see. The other avenue I want to explore is the dealer of the Ferrari mesh. He said plastic welding might be an option, but he doesn't know. And so I'm going to... Anyone that knows about plastic welding, that stuff, please let us know how to do it.
What else did we do?
Well, because we took the trams off, the catwalk came off.
Oh yeah.
Which was only 6 bolts, and Bruce and I did it pretty easily. We dropped that down so we can work on the corrosion on it. It's just very light surface corrosion on it, and also work on the corrosion on the front crossbeam, which does have some big bubbles under the paint. So we're yet to strip that back and see what it looks like. You ladies did a lot of house cleaning, which was great, because this is a dust bowl here, man. But yeah, you guys cleaned it up real nice. Cleaned out all the cupboards and stuff like that. So yeah, that's our 3 days of work so far. We'll give you an update in the next few days on what we get done. Probably just finishing those jobs that I've already told you about. One big mission which I want to start on before we leave here. Well, I can't start it. I have to finish it like in a day at least. Is install the Victron inverter, and I want to redesign that whole electrical bay. For one, that Victron should be upright. Yeah, it should be, for heat and venting, it should be upright. But it's too tall to fit under there, I'm pretty sure, because the wires also have to feed in the bottom. They need that curvature to feed up in there. Anyway, that's the big mission, is to reinstall all the Victrons up in there and then still have the lights working the same day.
So you're still gonna put our Epoch battery here?
Yeah, so we're gonna bring the Epoch batteries off the RV and put them on Jupiter. So I also have to... They bolt down to the ground here, so maybe that's where I need to do a little more welding and make some bracketing on the floor. Yeah, that's us for the last 3 days.
Yay.
We'll check in with you guys soon. Cheers.